All right, everybody, what is going on? Welcome in and welcome back to another episode of the Going the Distance podcast. My name is Ryan Bonnell, and alongside me is Elijah Span. After a crazy weekend of the NFL championship games, we have our Super Bowl matchup. It is set. The Cincinnati Bengals, the LA Rams. We're going to be talking about that and more football in just a bit. But first, be sure to follow us over on social media over at GTD_sports. Other than TikTok, where we are at gtdsports.com. You can follow our personal accounts. I'm over at Ryan Bonnell8, where I just started posting TikToks more regularly now, so be sure to hop on that. And Elijah is at ElijahSpan19. And last but not least, be sure to check out on our website all of our podcast shows over on our network. We got the blanket coverage, betting on the rocks, hockey down here, unexpected value, so on and so forth. You guys get the gist. But for now, you guys are stuck with us. We're going to be talking all things football after this weekend, or from this weekend, excuse me. But first off, we're going to start out our Monday episodes like we normally do with a little bit of highlight and low light. I think everybody, based on what I'm wearing, you should know what my highlight of the weekend was. But Elijah, I'll let you start us off.
So my grandma canceled her DirecTV package, and so I used that DirecTV for everything, like sports, like HBO, and like basically she had everything. I had access to like anything that I wanted to watch on TV. I didn't have to worry about it. I just use her password and I'd be good to go.
Yeah, like the DirecTV stream thing.
Yeah. And so she canceled it. Bummer. And I haven't been able to watch HBO. HBO is like my favorite one that she had. And I was talking to my friend, and he was like, "Oh, have you seen Euphoria season 2 yet?" And I was like, "No, I don't have HBO anymore." And he's like, "I'll give you my login." And I was like, "Oh,
clutch."
Fuck yeah. But then he was like, "Well, what streaming service do you have that I don't?" And I was like, "You got Disney Plus?" And he was like, "Nope." And I was like, "Bet, it's a deal." So we swapped passwords, and it's good to go. So it's very
That's actually a good way to do it.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm going to do it from now on. Be like, "All right, I'll give you my login, but what do you have that I don't?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, because there's literally so many streaming platforms at this point that you can't afford all of them. You have to pick and choose.
No, I need
It's
someone
impossible.
I need Peacock. That's the next one I'm going to try and finesse.
See, I did what I do for Peacock. Yeah, exactly. I'm not paying for it. I've done multiple accounts on Peacock because they give you a month free trial. And because very rarely, because NBC, of course, owns the rights to the Premier League. So very rarely they'll stick a Premier League game on Peacock instead of on NBC Sports.
Oh, yeah.
And so every time an Arsenal game is on Peacock, I'll just sign up with a random email for a free 30 days, and then that's it.
Oh, okay.
I just put in, I feel like I kind of finesse it because I have like a Cash App debit card that I never keep money on. And that's what I put as my debit card for like recurring payments. So it's supposed to just like start charging you after the trial's over, but it just never charges me because it's an empty card.
Decent. Yeah, or Apple Plus. I need Apple TV.
Yeah, I want that too.
I need to watch Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I use my roommates. We all watch Ted Lasso together. It's definitely worth it. That show alone is worth getting Apple TV.
There's like a couple other decent things that look good for Apple, but I'm not gonna pay for it.
Wait, speaking of though, you mentioned Euphoria. I know this isn't sports related whatsoever, but I am curious. What is your take on Euphoria? I have not seen a single episode, but it's all that's being talked about on TikTok and Twitter and everything like that.
I watched season 1 when it came out like 2 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, because it was big back then too.
It is good. Like I like Zendaya, but it's just like,
of course,
yeah. But they're all in high school and they're doing shit like I didn't even do in college. You know what I mean? Like they're having sex and doing drugs, and I'm just like they're doing like in one of the scenes, Zendaya does fentanyl, and I'm just like,
oh, just straight fentanyl.
Oh, straight fentanyl.
That's fun.
And I was like, and it's like rich high school suburbia. So I don't know. Like I knew kids that were into some of the harder drugs, but like in high school and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like that. I don't know.
No, it is. That's what I'm thinking is like my whole take is just like, I get it's a show, and there's going to be exaggerations, but I love the videos too. That's like on TikTok where it's point of view. You're going to high school, but forgot you go to Euphoria High School. And it's like a kid wearing a normal outfit, and then they snap their fingers, and they're in like high heels, a crop top dress, fucking makeup, like tearing down. Like, I don't know, some sparkly shit. Like,
so a lot of fucked up shit happens, but like, I guess some of it could be true. but not in one place. This is probably just like sporadically. I don't know, but it's also like in LA high school. I have no idea what those are like. So I guess
that
those could
is
be
true,
crazy.
but I don't know. I mean, I know like a decent amount of Californians because of like TCU. A lot of Californians go here, but I don't know. I've heard it's just so extreme. I guess I have to
It
watch
is
it for
pretty
myself
extreme.
before I
It's
have
a decent show though, but then like you'd be
There's a lot
watching
of
because
dick in it.
oh yeah, I forgot that.
I've heard there's a
But,
lot of dick.
Yeah, there's a lot of male nudity. Ugh. I mean, it's good, and you'll be like, yeah, this show's pretty cool. And then they'll be like going back to class in high school, and you're like, wait, what? Because they're all like 23 and 25, like the actors.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, so
like Sydney Sweeney or whatever her name is has been gathering like a cult-like following of men.
She's very attractive. That's why.
All right. Anyway, though, on to the next.
Okay, but yeah, low light. I went to a Spurs Bulls game this weekend. It was awesome. That was my other highlight actually. But I bet big on the Bulls to go, and the Bulls lost. So that was a bummer.
Yeah, it'd be like that. That's the worst though.
I also ran into somebody that I knew from TCU at the game.
Oh, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, he moved to San Antonio for a little bit. He's from Chicago. So like when I saw him, I was like, that kind of makes sense. But it was just kind of small world. Game. Like never expected it.
Yeah, that is one of the worst though, is like I always, of course, when you're at the game, it makes sports betting even more fun. You know, you gotta bet on it. But then the whole time it kind of ruins it if it's like the fourth quarter and your bet is just, you know, impossible. They're not gonna hit, like just makes watching the game.
And it makes it worse when you double down with a live bet.
Well, yeah, that'll get you. As it has in the past many times.
Is what it is.
Is what it is. Alrighty, though. My highlight of this weekend, like I said, should be obvious by this Bengals jersey on my chest. Houday is going to the Super Bowl. All of the hype, all of the crazy theories and everything that we had been talking about in the before the playoffs even started of like, are the Bengals even a playoff team? Can they maybe win a playoff game? Fuck that. They did that and some, baby. We've made it this far. The Bengals, I'm not taking this underdog mentality into the Super Bowl. We've made it this far. We have to win it. I don't know, bro. And alongside that, coinciding, I placed a TikTok wager. Like I posted a TikTok saying, I'm so confident that the Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs that if they do not, I'll do whatever the top comment says. And the top comment on the video was buy Super Bowl tickets and go. And I'm like, bro, I'm poor. The one before that was kiss your dad on the lips and post it. And I'm like, all right, y'all are fucking weird, bro. Like I was literally just like refreshing watching it. And I'm like, this has like 400 likes on the comment. And I'm like, no, like it can't be. But then somebody said the
little TB12 action.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm not going to be known as that guy on TikTok that fucking made out with his dad. Just a little. No, dude, no, not happening. No, but yeah, it worked out. Didn't have to do anything. So
yep, Bengals won. Yeah, that was kick ass.
Yeah, we'll talk about that game in just a sec. But also, my low light is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the striker for Arsenal, is leaving. Looks like he's going to Barcelona FC on loan with the option to buy. So a lot of memories with Abba at Arsenal. So kind of, I knew it was coming, but just sad to see it happening now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, though,
so
let's just start off with
this Bengals game.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was crazy. Did not expect that, honestly. I thought that, and I should have doubled down on my take because I said, I don't know, 4 months ago that the Chiefs weren't going to make it to the Super Bowl. They're going to get stopped somehow. Their cockiness and their bullshit is going to prevent them from going again, which is exactly what happened. But I ended up betting on the Chiefs like a chump. And you know what, though? I've never been more okay with losing a $30 bet in my entire life because it was to the Bengals. I would have been super pissed, though, if they would have won but not covered the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been like the worst of both worlds. But I'm glad that they lost to the Bengals. Like, I've never been more okay with a bet in my life, losing one. And like, how about them Bengals, dude? Like, fuck yeah.
I know, bro. I remember you texted me too before the game, and you were like, "Ah, man, I had to switch up. I had to go with the Chiefs. I bet the Chiefs. And then you saw Joe Burrow with his JB9 chain and that drippy coat. He walked in with his sunglasses.
And then I was like, shit.
Something different, bro. It's just something different. Yeah, but I think that was one of, if not the best football games of the season. I think it's right up there with the Bills-Chiefs game, even though it didn't have as crazy as an ending. I think from start to finish, I mean, you said it already. Like the Bengals looked like they were down and out. They were down 21-3 late in the second quarter. I was watching it with my buddy Cole. Cole. Cole's on GTD, fellow Bengals fan. And me and Cole were watching the game, and I turned to him and I'm like, well, it was a good run. It was a good season, like I'm happy with where we made it this far. I just sad to see we got blown out like this. And then I don't know what happened, bro, but our defense just flipped a switch. And you're right. I think it does have a little bit to do with the Chiefs' cockiness. Like Mahomes looked like he barely knew what to do whenever, he got picked off at the line of scrimmage and the game just wasn't falling into the palm of his hands,
Yeah.
He looked a bit rattled.
It all started with that last play of that first half.
Oh, I know. That was the biggest play of the game without a doubt.
I think what happened was that the Bengals saw that and they were like, oh, the Chiefs think they can clown us.
Yeah.
And I think that just spurred them. They were just like, fuck these guys. We're going to win this football game now. Because that was straight up disrespectful what they did. And I'm so glad. Because even when they got stopped, I was like, God damn it, Chiefs. Like doing their Chiefs bullshit when they don't cover the spread like that. I'm like, I hate these guys. Like, I was like, I'm so mad I have money on them.
They should have taken the field goal there before half.
100%. Or just a quick out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you throw behind the line of scrimmage with 5 seconds left and no timeouts?
They're stupid. It's stupid.
I'll take it, though. I'm all for it.
100%. Yeah, of course you'll take that.
Yeah.
But that's what started it. And then they came out firing at half, and Chiefs didn't know what to do in the second half. And, it looked like in the first half, Bengals defense didn't know how to tackle.
Yeah, they were playing abysmal.
Second half, Chiefs defense didn't know how to tackle. And Bengals defense, we can say all the crazy things and all the, give all the flowers to Joe Burrow in the world. But that defense has played a huge part.
Oh, 100%.
In getting there. It's been 1-1. Joe Burrow, it's not been Joe Burrow just carrying this team. It was a little bit during the Titans game because he got sacked so many times. But that was more just him carrying the offense. The Titans still only scored 16 points.
Yeah, the defense still played a great game. Yeah. And they held Derrick Henry under 70 yards.
They've only, they've had 5 interceptions? How many forced fumbles? Has there been one?
Actually, I don't know if there's been any fumbles, but they've had a lot of picks in the playoffs.
No fumble recoveries. They forced a fumble against Pat, I remember.
Yeah, they did. Oh, I remember, bro, because that would have sealed the deal.
That would have sealed the game.
Would have been no overtime.
But yeah, so I mean, 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. They're on a roll.
Yeah.
So, I mean, watch out. Matt Stafford to throw an interception might be one of my. Definitely is going to be a prop bet that I place for the Super Bowl.
It's got to be. He's going to have at least one Lions Matthew Stafford moment,
100%.
Yeah.
But no, so it's I'm just shocked because really your goals at the beginning of the year was okay, let's have Joe Burrow have a healthy season and let's try to go 500.
Yeah, that was at 500 would have been a stretch.
A monumental success, a building block towards the future. Instead, you'll win the AFC North and you're going to the Super Bowl. What the fuck?
Dude, we had the same odds at the preseason. The Bengals had the same odds as the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans did to win the Super Bowl. Plus 10,000, bro, was the preseason odds. I should have done it. Why did I not?
So it's what, 10 to win 1,000?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Dude, I know. I'm just thinking as my degenerate self, why did I not just do it because it's my team?
10.
Yeah, with a tenner.
Throw 10.
It is what it is, though.
Fucking dipshit Cowboys.
No, but I like what you said though about like the defense, how it has been like 1-1 really. Like although Burrow is definitely getting all the media attention and he deserves attention, but that defense really, especially in the Chiefs game, the defense won the game. Like there's no shot they would have even came back if it wasn't for that second half performance. I don't know what it was. I don't know what clicked. I guess it was that play where they just didn't want to be bitched, but they figured it out. They came out looking like a completely different team, gave the Bengals the opportunity. And also, I mean, not to say that Joe Burrow didn't do anything. I mean, one of the keys to the game was just Joe Burrow's swagger. I mean, as it has been the entire playoffs. So that's kind of just universal at this point.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he's just a natural born winner.
Every third down in the second half, he stepped up.
Yeah. Oh, and he made plays with his legs too.
Yeah.
Like, which he hasn't done too much this year because he's been a little nervous.
Well, a lot of quarterbacks that normally don't have done it again this year, like Pat Mahomes has ran more in the playoffs because it's the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like Matt Stafford's been churning out some gains.
That's true. You got to risk it for the biscuit.
And it's because like Joe Burrow, since he doesn't really run, he doesn't have a spy on him. So if like there's an open lane and the pocket collapses in the right way, he can gain, 10 or 15 yards easily.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why he's been doing it. But he just wouldn't take those. In the regular season, you kind of roll out, look for the guy, and throw it away because, he doesn't get hurt. He's the franchise. But, in the playoffs, it's the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, like, he's going to send it.
Yeah,
so that's why he's been running a little bit more. I might see what – it might be another one. Joe Burrow rushing yards.
Dude, his total for this game was over 7.5. And I had that in a parlay. Ended up losing because of Tyler Boyd.
What did he finish with?
I think he had like 23 or 24. He had a few decent pickups with his legs.
If it's like 10 or under, I'm gonna place it.
I would probably too. Yeah, double digits is a stretch, but like 10 is probably as far as I'd go.
Yeah, it's like
15. Yeah, no, that's too much.
I'll just stay away.
Yeah, but also too, another big factor in that game was T. Higgins. Like we've been talking about Jamar Chase a lot, but the Chiefs, I got to give them credit too. The Chiefs did a great job of limiting Jamar Chase, limiting the amount of times he could, make a play happen, even if it was just on a screen or an end around. So T. Higgins, I think he had like 6 receptions, 106 yards, and a few of those catches were huge, like 3rd and 4. Fingertip grabs while he gets hit, like huge catches that he came up with. So T. Higgins stepped up big. And then that O-line, I know we shit on him last week, but the O-line played a phenomenal game. They gave up 1 sack. They looked like an actual NFL O-line. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So hopefully that can carry over against the Rams. But I mean, the Rams have fucking Aaron Donald, Von Miller. They got literally everybody, dude.
Leonard Floyd.
Yeah, I'm scared, dude. I'm scared. Aaron Donald, that's another one of my like Super Bowl prop bets that I already have in my head is whatever Aaron Donald's sack total is, I'm taking the over.
1.5?
If it's 1.5, I'm taking the over. I think he gets 2.
Yeah, that's tough though.
I know it's tough. It's hard to bet for 2 sacks by one player in a game.
I'd probably take. You know what I'd take though is total sacks in the game.
That's actually probably better. Yeah, for the Rams.
The odds might be like minus 165. No, it'll be for both teams. I've done it. I did it in the divisional round for both games, or for the Bengals game and the Packers game. I placed it. But the odds are going to be it's going to be like probably like 160, minus 160. But it's worth it. I mean, if it hits, it hits.
Yeah, I think
that
would be a good play to look into for the Rams, just because we had a great game last week, but I don't think we can keep it up against the Rams. It'll be the best defense the Bengals have played all season, and you could argue that this might be the best offense the Rams have faced all season. But
well, I mean, they faced the Bucs twice.
Okay, fair point. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know though. I mean, I guess I wonder, like, statistically where the offense is ranked, because I don't know that off the top of my head.
I don't either.
But I feel like the Bengals offense is just kind of rolling right now.
No, they're clicking. But I keep thinking in my head because, we'll get to the matchup more. We're still on this game, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I want to,
Yeah, we'll talk about
Our
the matchup.
bets.
Yeah, we'll talk about the matchup in a little bit. So, do you think overall, just with the way it turned out, this was the Bengals were the second team ever in the modern era of overtime rules. They were just the second team out of 12 overtime games to win the game after losing the coin toss. I thought it was over. When we lost the coin toss, I almost broke down. I was ready to cry. I was like, you got to be kidding me. After all of this. Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. But with that being said, obviously Mahomes threw that pick. So did Patrick Mahomes lose this game, or did the Bengals go and take it from him?
It's got to be a little bit of both, right?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, you can't give all the credit to one. Like, you can't say it was they only won because Patrick Mahomes made those mistakes, because obviously there was an abundance of more factors. But you also can't say that, the Bengals, like the Chiefs, didn't blow it whatsoever, because they did kind of blow it. Even though the Bengals played a great game, they did kind of blow it. So I think it's right in the middle.
You had an 11-point lead going at halftime.
Same lead they had when we played them in week 17 too. They had
which is so crazy.
Lead. I know,
so crazy to me. I got really nervous when they said that. I was like, fuck.
Dude, my buddy texted me when we were down 21-3 and was like, I just live bet Bengals plus 19.5. No way Burrow loses by 20 points in the playoffs. And I'm like, dude, that's a good bet. But
damn, I should have done that. I
was scared. I thought we were gonna get blown out.
In hindsight, I was like, damn, I wish I'd have thrown 10 on Bengals money line at halftime just for shits and gigs, because it'd have been like what, plus 1,000 or something.
Probably, yeah, close to that somewhere. But yeah, no, another positive that came out of this too was nobody now is going to have to watch Jackson Mahomes twerk at the Super Bowl on TikTok. So that's a win-win for everybody.
Everybody's really happy about that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's great. But speaking of that, have you seen the recent champagne debacle with Jackson and Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend / fiance, Brittany?
Yeah, I've seen that. She's everywhere. Now she's getting as much hate as Jackson.
Yeah, like the people have turned on her now instead of just Jackson. What is your take on that? The whole champagne spraying thing.
So she posted that herself. She probably should just stay off the social media.
Yeah, I know. That's
like, because Patrick Mahomes is getting he's pretty much widely loved, and now he's kind of hated because he's surrounded by jackasses.
Yeah, so that's the thing is people are starting to turn on him because of them.
And I feel bad, and I don't like to shit on his fiance as much as I like to shit on his brother, because his brother kind of deserves it more. But I mean, she's kind of putting it on herself, kind of like Giselle after the Giants-Patriots Super Bowl. She's like, my husband, when she said my husband can't catch the ball and throw the ball at the same time, and people were blowing up on her. But Giselle did that because she was flamed by reporters and she was kind of drunk after the Super Bowl and just said it. Brittany's posting shit and just, pretty much wanting this attention, and it's backlashing on her. So it's a little different. But no, yeah, she the champagne shower was definitely a big oof.
Yeah, and I think too there was a video before the champagne shower that pissed a lot of people off. I forgot which game it was, but it was something like she posted a close-up of her face, that's a Chiefs win, baby. To all those people who thought we were gonna lose, what now? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But with the champagne thing, my take on it is at first I was kind of what a tone, how tone deaf can you be? You're sitting in your heated suite, the nicest building or the nicest room probably in the entire stadium, and it's freezing cold outside, it's windy, and you decide to pull out a cold bottle of champagne and just pour it on the people below you. So my original take was that's just so tone deaf. That's just dumb. She deserves the hate that she's getting. But then apparently she came out and made a statement in the media that the people below her were actually asking and celebrating with them and asking her to pour champagne. So I'm like, if that's true, that does make it different, I guess. Cause what are you going to do if there's a bunch of fans yelling at you, pop a bottle, but it looked bad. And especially like you said, coming off her account, she posted it, that makes it a little bit worse too. It wasn't just some random video that TMZ Sports posted or something.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Pat just needs to be like, hey, be quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't. They're supposed to get married soon, right? They're like fiance. Are they engaged? I don't keep up with the athletes' relationships as much, though. All
Yeah,
right.
no.
Anyway.
All right.
All right. Last question, though, before we move on from the Bengals to the Niners game. So I know that this is a regular season award, but do you think the Bengals' run to the Super Bowl has helped Zach Taylor's chance of winning Coach of the Year in any way, shape, fashion, or form?
Well, isn't Coach of the Year based off like regular season?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, it is a regular season award, but when it comes to the people that are voting, they may have some recency bias in the sense of, the Bengals have been playing super well, so and they're still in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it can't hurt. I mean, they want. Yeah, I would say because like who else would it be right now?
Right now, Vrabel is like the heavy favorite at -300, and then Zach Taylor's right after him at like +200. And that was like a couple weeks ago when I checked. So I don't know
Okay.
what the odds are now. I'm assuming something pretty similar. So, but it looks like it's probably going to be Vrabel.
Yeah, I guess it's him or Vrabel. They'd both deserve it. I wouldn't be mad with either
Yeah, I
one.
wouldn't be mad with Vrabel. I mean, he did a great job when Henry went out. So I could see it going both ways, but I wish that, it was affected by the playoffs because, I feel like if you're a team like the Bengals that only was a 10-7 team in the regular season, I feel like that should give you a little bit more credit for having that Super Bowl run. But
That that might give him some points for next year.
that's true. Yeah. But
But
I personally think, though, even in the regular season, I think there's an argument to be made that Zach Taylor should win it over Vrabel. Just, I mean, like, based off the expectations you mentioned earlier, like how going 500 would have meant the world to the Bengals this
yeah,
season.
and he completely changed perspective on him in just 1 year. Like he went from
Yeah.
borderline, like he was pretty much fired, before the season went on. Like this guy sucks. He can't do anything. Like can't keep Joe Burrow upright. Blah blah blah. His system's trash. And here we are now. He's going into the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
Zach Taylor, good head coach.
Yeah, exactly. He was literally on the brink of being fired. I was ready to fire him. I did not like him one bit. But this year has been polar opposite. It's just been completely different than his play calling and everything last year. So props to him. But let's go ahead and switch from the AFC to the NFC. Go ahead and talk about this 49ers and Rams game. Los Angeles got the dub over San Francisco for the first time in their last 7 matchups. The Niners were 6-0 since 2019 against the Rams, but it was also a really, really good game. I don't think it was quite as exciting as the Bengals overtime finish, but I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better weekend of championship games. Even, the divisional round was amazing. We've just had some great football games lately, and this was another one. So the Rams came away 20-17 after coming back from 10 points down in the fourth quarter. My initial reaction is I'm just happy for Matthew Stafford, really. Like we were both really, really high on the Stafford McVay connection coming into the season. And looks like we were exactly right. I mean, it's paid off, and it's paid off in the big moments too. Like, and that Cup connection, my God, dude.
Yeah.
They just don't stop, bro.
I mean, Cooper Kupp, best wide receiver in the NFL, yes or no?
Dude, see, I've been seeing a lot of arguments on like, is Cup top 3? So you can't argue with numbers, right? Numbers never lie. If he has the triple crown this year, receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns, everything. But in terms of like, if I'm talking just straight up athletic ability, route running, catching, I don't think Cup would be number 1. I think I would still give that to Devontae Adams or DeAndre Hopkins as
Yeah,
just the
but
best overall receiver. Maybe Cup would take the most efficient receiver, but it's hard for me to say that he's better than those two guys. Like, do you honestly think he's better than Devontae Adams?
I mean, he can get open
He can. I mean, but
like
they both
any
can get
other
open.
guy. But where Cup has the real edge is yak, yards after catch.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, even
Definitely.
though, I mean, Devontae's no slouch. Obviously, he's good in all phases. But, I mean, Cup after the catch is – I mean, he's even better than Tyreek.
That's hard to say. Really?
I think so.
Better than Tyreek Hill after the catch?
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely the top two guys in terms of yards after catch, but I don't know. That's hard to compare because Tyreek just turns into a lightning bolt after he catches it. He just takes off. But
I mean,
Cup, and I don't want to be like, the stereotypical, like, use the stereotypical white guy adjectives, but I mean, he reads the field well. Like, it's not, he doesn't have to rely on his speed like Tyreek Hill does. Cup, like, reads the field well. He follows his blockers well. He seems to make the right decisions after catching the ball. So I don't, it's hard to compare them. If I had to pick one of those two, I would probably say Hill after catch. But so in terms of the argument of is Cup top 3 or not, I think I'd stick him right at number 3.
he's not even close. Of course, he's top 3. I'd put him over D-Hop.
Really? Over
Like, yeah,
D-Hop?
Yeah, D-Hop is better in contested catches, but you know what? You know why? Because Cup can just get open better.
Cup can get open better,
It
but
might be routes a little bit too. That might be a little bit of Sean McVay effect on Cup being able to get open so well. But I mean, just like, dude, holy shit! I'm just amazed that this guy's double covered all the time. The defense, he's a focal point for the defense, and he finds himself in situations where he is constantly wide open.
yeah, and he's not even like that big of a target. Like, he's NFL size, but it's not like, a Julio Jones where he's like 6'5", 250, or some
Right.
random crazy shit. But I will stick him right at number 3 in the top 3. I don't think I can put him over Hopkins quite yet. I know Hopkins kind of had a quiet year with injury and COVID and everything, but that's tough to say. I mean, he's definitely jumped this year. Like, he went from not even being a top 10 receiver to like definitely probably top 3. So, all right, though. Anyway, I'm happy to see that Stafford and Cup connection in the game, but in the Super Bowl. But I'm sad to see that they're gonna have to lose the game. I'm sorry, Rams, but they were my preseason prediction to win it all, which makes me happy that I at least got half of my Super Bowl prediction right. But now they got to go and lose it. I'm sorry, Stafford, but it's just how it is.
It's just how it is. Yeah, no. I like the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to win it too.
I really do too. I hold on. Before we get straight up into the Bengals Rams matchup, let's talk a little bit more about this game because there was a big play that has been talked about all throughout sports media in the last 24 hours. And that's Tart dropping that interception on the Rams' last drive that got them that field goal. Do we see the same result? Rams winning, Rams going to the Super Bowl if Tart doesn't drop that INT?
I think so. I think that they still maybe could have etched it out because at that point, the offense was stalling under Jimmy G. Deebo Samuel wasn't getting the ball. There's a good chance that we still could have saw the same result. Because did they scored points with that drive or did they not?
The Rams?
The Rams, yeah.
That's when the Rams got their field goal to go ahead 2017, yeah.
No, that's when they tied it.
I thought it was when they took the lead.
No, they took the lead after Jimmy G's interception.
Yeah, because they took the lead like at the end. Yes, you're right, yes.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that I think we'd still be looking at the same thing here. I don't think it's as big of a deal, but it's a pretty big deal. Like, he should have had that. That's a bad drop.
It's hard to say exactly what the outcome would have been if one play is different, but yeah, this was a huge play, and it wasn't even just a normal dropped pick. Like, it wasn't like a bullet pass that went through his fingertips. This shit was literally like a punt return catch. It was just floating in the air, ready for him. Like, it was straight to him. So,
I could have caught that.
Exactly, I could have caught that, and I don't want to say that I'm like right in the middle because I do think although the Niners offense was stalling, they were having trouble moving it. The Rams defense definitely had the momentum, but that pick would have changed the game too. It probably would have fired up the Niners, would have given them hope. They may have managed the clock a little bit better to try and score a field goal without giving the Rams a chance. But that being said, at the same time, we could have seen that interception happen. Niners go down, get a field goal, leave 50 seconds on the clock. Stafford gets a game-winning touchdown. Like anything could have happened. There was still enough time to where it wasn't like a seal the deal play, but it definitely would have helped. So I don't know if I can definitively say the result would still be the same, but it definitely was a huge, huge effect on the game.
Mm-hmm. Niners move on from Jimmy G after the season, yes or no?
I think yes. I think they have to. They're kind of forced to, really. And I don't like. It's hard to argue because he's won. He's won. He just wins games. He has a great record with the Niners. It's like 35-15 or something. But if you're gonna spend a top 5 draft pick on a quarterback, you can't just let him sit on the sidelines for his career when you can probably get a decent penny for a trade or something for Garoppolo. So
what can you get from Jimmy G? You can get a first.
That's a stretch. I don't know if you can get a first. You can at least get a second round.
The Eagles got a first for Carson Wentz.
That's true. So I think they might be able to get a first just because of the fact that he has such a good record. Like
if it was going to be a first, though, I feel like it would just be 1 first-round pick for Jimmy G.
I could definitely see that happening. Yeah, no players involved. Which I mean, for the Niners, think about that though. If they trade Jimmy G for a first-round draft pick, they basically traded Jimmy G for Trey Lance because they used the draft pick on him. And they got one back for their other quarterback. So it's basically like they got Trey Lance for free, just like in a swap deal.
Well, I don't think they have a first-round pick for this year. They traded like 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, too. Also, another little cool little tidbit of that game is that game-winning interception was Trayvan Howard, a Tcu graduate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if he was. I think he was playing here when we were here because he's like,
he was.
Yeah, he's the all-time leader of tackles in the Gary Patterson era.
No shit. I didn't know he's playing for the Niners.
No, the Rams. Yeah,
the Rams. My bad.
He hasn't been starting until like the last few weeks, but hey, good for him.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's kind of cool.
I know Trayvan.
Last question though: do you think? Oh wait, sorry, I just had a blank. We already talked about porn star Jimmy. I was literally just about to ask about porn star Jimmy, but that's literally what we just talked about. All right, I just wanted to say porn star Jimmy. I guess it was just an excuse. All right. Anyway, though, now for the actual Super Bowl matchup. Now, obviously, we're gonna be talking about this when the time comes closer. We're gonna do some sort of Super Bowl special episode with all of our bets and prop bets and national anthem picks and whatnot. But
I'm going tails.
Oh, tails! I'm going tails too.
Might throw 50 on tails. It didn't hit last year. It's destined to hit.
That's what I'm saying. Is 2 years ago it hit. Last year didn't hit. It's tails never fails, bro. I was so pissed when the Bengals lost the coin toss to the Chiefs. They chose heads.
They didn't go tails.
I know they said heads, and I'm like, oh, we lost. There we go. Why'd we say heads? And then, dude, it turns out as
it literally rhymes.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason it rhymes. What does heads have that doesn't rhyme or that rhymes? Nothing. Heads never fleds. That's stupid. What else could you say? Head never. I don't know. Heads is dead, bro. That's what we should say.
Yeah.
So heads is dead. Tails never fails. All right. Anyway, though, so before we get into this matchup with the Rams and Bengals, what would your ideal Super Bowl matchup have been before playoffs even started? I know we made our predictions, but in terms of fandom, what 2 teams would you have wanted to see?
I mean, anything involving the Cowboys.
Obviously, yeah. But who would you have wanted them to play?
Maybe like the Bills for like Cowboys-Bills rivalry's sake. Like throwing that back a little bit. And then us being the reason that the Bills still haven't won a Super Bowl. That would have been kind of cool. Or even though I like the Bills, I don't know why I want to shit on them like that. Or like Cowboys Chiefs to like be like, oh yeah, we like beat the guys who've been there. That would have been cool. I don't know. Just any scenario involving the Dallas Cowboys, basically. I know, and for us too, like you have it. I know this is definitely yours. Is like Cowboys Bengals. That would have been sick for this podcast.
Yeah, that would have been great. Would have worked out perfect. Yeah.
Mhm.
That is definitely my dream scenario. Would have been Bengals Cowboys, mostly just for like my social life, obviously the podcast, but most of my friends being from DFW are Cowboys fans, so that would have been fun. But I also was really rooting for the Niners in that game against the Rams. I really wanted to see a 49ers versus Bengals, a historical matchup. Even though I had money on Rams minus 3.5, which fuck me, half a point loss. I wanted the Niners to win, so I didn't get either one of those, but I really can't complain in any facet of the matter. I'm just happy to be here, you know?
Mhm.
So now for this matchup, Bengals Rams, are you satisfied with what we got? You know, is this a matchup that you think is worthy of a Super Bowl, worthy of all this attention, or would you have wanted to see, you know, more of a headline type matchup where it maybe had been Brady versus the Patriots or something like that?
So Brady versus the Pats would have been super cool.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
Don't get me wrong. And when it first got set, I was like, this is kind of weird. Like Rams versus Bengals, there's not a whole lot of storylines out there. Just seems kind of odd, mostly for the fact that the Bengals really aren't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Um, but like the more I think about it, the more I love it.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree. No, I agree.
this is Sean McVay versus his former assistant. This is Joey B versus the world. This is Matt Stafford trying to redeem his career. This is, I mean, everything about it. It's the Rams D line versus the Bengals O line.
Yeah.
This is the story of like probably the two best skill position groups in the league going at each other head to head on both on the offensive sides of the ball. It's the Rams going the biggest YOLO I think we've ever seen in NFL history of trying to Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
And Joey B just saying, "Fuck you, I'm Joe Burrow. I'm gonna win this game." You know, it becoming basically like being the new Tom Brady, honestly. So no, I love it. I love this matchup. I think that the longer it goes on, the more the people are going to buy into it as something that's going to be I'm really good. I thought for a minute there that it was going to be a Chiefs 49ers rematch, which would have been really cool. But I like this matchup the more and more I think about it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of the same way. It does just keep on growing on me as I look into it. Obviously, I would have been satisfied with any matchup that the Bengals were in, but I'm not opposed to the Rams. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. These are both two really fun offenses to watch, you know, just simply call plays and go out there and do their thing. But yeah, like you said, you know, the Rams D line against the Bengals O line, there are some specific matchups to look out for. And I don't really think I would have. There's nobody else I could have seen that would have been better for the Bengals per se in terms of playing them, because I didn't want to play the Patriots. I mean, I'm okay with playing the Rams. You know, like when the playoffs started, I was totally fine with, you know, matching up with the Rams, matching up with the Niners, even matching up with like the Cardinals. I was more nervous actually about like the Packers and the Cowboys. That's who I was really scared about. Obviously the Packers, but God knows what happened to them. So I do like this matchup. I think it gives ESPN and all the broadcast networks a little bit of room to work with in terms of a narrative, because it's definitely not at the magnitude of like Brady versus the Patriots would have been. But they're going to ride this Joe Burrow narrative to the ground. They're just going to
Mhm.
hammer it, hammer it, hammer it. Joe Burrow never lost a playoff game with Jamar Chase. He's the kid from Ohio winning it for his hometown team. Like, they're going to milk that. Same thing with Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's been in the league for so long. He's been consistently so good, never had a chance. And now he's with McVay and he gets there in 1 year. Like, there are storylines behind the matchup. So I like it. I have nothing to knock with the matchup. I will say though, because we talked about it last week about the NFL being rigged. Do you think this help or hurt that argument that it's rigged?
Um, it helped the argument a little bit
That's what I'm thinking.
because again, LA team wins. They want the LA market, having the Rams in LA in the Super Bowl, and then having Joe Burrow there. And my God, everyone loves Joe Burrow.
Dude, it's actually crazy. Yeah, everybody. I haven't seen a negative opinion yet.
No, everyone fucking loves this guy.
That's got to be a lot of pressure, though.
Nah, dude, I don't think anything phases him.
No, it doesn't, though. Like, anytime I come out and I'm, like, nervous about, like, we're down by 3, we need to score here, I'm like, he is still his second year, he could make mistakes, but then nope, he just fucking whips out his tripod dick and does the damn thing.
Yeah, him being at LSU, being the SEC, playing against Bama, playing against Georgia.
That definitely helped.
I think that he's battle tested. You know what I mean? Like, he's taken his hits. I mean, he already earned his stripes before he came into the league, basically.
Yeah. And I think playing an Arrowhead, too, and winning that AFC Championship game is way harder of a task than it would be to win a Super Bowl in SoFi, even though it's the Rams' home stadium. It's not.
Is it really going to be home field advantage?
Exactly.
I mean, the most people that go to the Super Bowl are like corporate people who buy the Super Bowl tickets like way in advance.
Yeah, it's corporations, and they do like. I feel like I want to know what the percentage of like giveaways are, because I bet a lot of people that are at the Super Bowl are just like free tickets they won on like a radio show or something,
or like people that work for like Geico or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not fans of the teams, respectively, for the most part, which is what I've heard. And like I would even say that because there's going to be a lot of neutral fans there, people that just want to go to the Super Bowl, it's going to help out the Bengals, because a lot of people, most of the public America wants the Bengals to win. I feel like
it does seem that way. Yeah, that America wants the Bengals to win, because I mean, also LA as a football town just isn't a big market. Like, there are Rams fans out there, like, of course there's still a bunch in St. Louis. They have the old head fans from back when they were in LA, but it's not really a football town. So like,
no,
people want to see the Bengals win, I think. But yeah, I mean, that kind of leads into our next question about this matchup is like, will playing in SoFi really be as big of a factor as it was for, say, Tampa Bay last year? Because I mean, it's literally only 2 teams have ever played in a Super Bowl they've hosted, and it's been back-to-back years now.
Which is weird.
I know, that is really weird.
Well, it wasn't even really a factor for Tampa anyway, because most of the people that were there were just like, I think they only were like 5,000 like first responders, because with the COVID deal, to attend the game. So it wasn't a full stadium at the Super Bowl.
Great, I forgot about that, honestly.
Yeah, and then for the Rams, I think the only thing is that like if they win it, they'd be like, yeah, we won it in LA, which is cool. Like, that's the only thing that they're really getting out of this. I don't think they're going to get any kind of advantage. I think if anything, they're going to have a disadvantage at SoFi. Unless maybe they know something about the turf or something really minuscule that's going to help them out. Or like how the ball floats in the air, or like maybe there's like a secret, because the stadium's actually a canopy. It's not actually a dome, or maybe there's like a secret wind tunnel that only Stafford and Kupp know about that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase don't know.
I mean, that would make a lot of sense based on their numbers this year together. Damn.
Yeah. So maybe there's something small, minuscule that gives them that. But in terms of like crowd noise and stuff like that, I think the advantage is going to go towards the Bengals.
That I would love to see that. Yeah, I don't think this will be much of a factor at all. I do think just being comfortable in the stadium is a factor. Like, the Rams have played there 9 times this year. So they're comfortable in their own stadium, obviously, which is really not that big of a factor. Like I said, like if Burrow can play an Arrowhead, he can play in a neutral field, SoFi, like no problem.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. So,
and then hold up, Dark Sage, I see you have a question regarding baseball. We'll get to you in a minute after we get done with the Super Bowl talk.
Yeah, go ahead and throw that question out there.
Yeah, we'll get to you after a minute though. But go ahead, let's talk about this game.
No, so I mean, I don't really have much to say, like to add on the stadium aspect of it, other than the fact that I looked into Super Bowl tickets. Because I was ready when the Bengals won. I was ready to go. I'm ready to sell all my shoes. I'm ready to sell my Pokemon cards, whatever I have to do to fund this trip. But my cap was like $4,000. I was like, I could spend $4,000. I can make that happen somehow. It would literally take a lot out of me, but I could make it happen. And I looked at the prices, and the cheapest ticket is $6,000. And I'm like, You got to be fucking kidding me. That's 50. last year the cheapest ticket was $4,000, and the year before that was like $3,000. So it's like, fuck me, it's just getting more and more expensive.
Yeah. No, I have a guy in my office. He's my team leader. And he's a baller. He makes a lot of he's one of the top dogs in the office in terms of sales and numbers. And he's from Cincinnati. And he was talking about like I might buy tickets for the game. And I was like, he's like, yeah, but I'd have to buy tickets for me and myself and my dad and plane tickets and a hotel room. And I was like, well, could you afford all those things? I was like, can you drop 30 G's like in your bank account? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, fucking do it.
Yeah, like, if you could just casually afford that, why not?
Oh, he makes fucking big money. I'll tell you after the podcast how much he makes. But I was like, bro, like I was actually in his ear all day. I was like, bro, you got to go to the Super Bowl. You got to go.
Yeah, like if you have the opportunity, why not?
I'm like begging this dude to spend his own money. I'm like, please drop 30 G's so I can live vicariously through you of you attending the Super Bowl for the Bengals. But yeah, no, that's crazy though. 6,000, that's a lot. He was looking at like the mid-level seats for like 10 grand a pop. I was like,
oh yeah, see, I went for like the cheapest ones. Yeah,
yeah.
I told my parents about it. Told my parents about like that I would want to try and go if it was any sort of possibility there. And their reaction was kind of just like, why can't we just watch it here or watch it at the house? Oh, I remember my mom, bro. My mom told me you can just like, why not go when you're older next time they make it? And I'm like, next time they make it,
Mama Bear.
You never know. Like that, they could. This isn't the Packers. This isn't the Patriots. This is the goddamn Cincinnati Bengals. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity potentially. It literally is the first time in my lifetime. So like, who's to say they're gonna do it by the time I die? I mean, I don't know. Granted, I do think with this team they will be back.
Oh yeah, with Joe Burrow, you probably have a good shot of getting in.
I think Burrow will be back.
The Dolphins thought the same thing when Dan Marino went his second year.
That is true. Shit. So.
But no, so enjoy this moment as a Bengals fan.
Exactly. I'm just trying to soak it in as if it'll never happen again. Like this is our time.
I've placed the single largest bet I've ever placed in my entire life in gambling. I put $250 on the Bengals plus 5 on the Super Bowl. So
yeah, I also am. I'm riding with you. I also placed my largest straight bet of my my betting career. Not the full 250, but I did 230 to win 200 on plus 5. So,
yeah, for some reason 250 was the number in my head. I should have just won 230 to win 200, but I was like, fuck it, I'll just do.
I mean, 250 is the prettier number, but like 200 is the prettier number to win than like 2.
Well, it's like 250 to win like 217, like 63 cents. Your bet looked way prettier for 230 to win 200 straight up. I like that.
Yeah, I always kind of, I don't know why, but I always kind of have like the aesthetic thing. Like
it is your bet is more aesthetically pleasing, but like I saw you this morning, I was like, man, I'm really thinking about doing it. And you were like, it's plus 5 on our book. The best it gets is plus 4 anywhere else for some reason, minus 115. And you were like, and then you just sent it to me. You're like, fuck it, I did it. And I was like, okay. And then I asked another guy that I know that gambles a lot, and I said, hey, I got Bengals plus 5. What do you think? And he goes, I'd probably take that now. I already took him plus 4. I think the line's going to shrink. And I immediately was like 250, hammer it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I really think if the line's going to move, it's not going to move in favor of the Bengals. It's going to move in favor of the Rams.
Yeah.
So
I've heard both
you never
things,
know.
Though. I've heard both things. Some people say I've heard people say it's going to move in favor of the Bengals. I've heard people say it's going to move in favor of the Rams. Most of the bets are on Bengals. Most of the money, like the last time I was able to access it, most of the money was on the Rams.
Yeah, so it seems like the sharp money, the big bettors are taking the Rams right now. But yeah, I've seen it at minus 3.5. I've seen it at minus 4 for the Rams, but that's it on like FanDuel, DraftKings, all the official. I have not seen anything past that. So the fact that we got plus 5, could be the difference maker. But also, of course, I'd rather just. I was tempted to take the money line, bro, but it
Take
just had
those
me.
5 points.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if the Bengals lose a heartbreaker on like a field goal, then at least I win $200, you know. But
Yeah.
it would just be brutal.
It's the money line was only like plus 160. And if I'm gonna lay down that kind of juice and I can get 5 points with it, I'm gonna take the 5 points.
Yeah, like 5 points in the NFL.
In the Super Bowl, that's
me
a lot.
likey. Yeah, me
Yeah,
likey.
me likey. And then and I keep on like I've been because this is the most money I've ever put. So of course, like my head's racing, like thinking all about it, and it's 2 weeks away. I keep on thinking about this matchup. I'm like, fuck, like the Rams D line versus the O line, like that worries me. Cooper Kupp scares me a lot. And then I just remember I'm putting 200 on Joey B with 5 points.
Yeah. I think you just have to.
I think you got to do it. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, and like bettors get, obviously I try to stay away from betting on my team. Like I haven't bet on the Bengals. Actually, I did bet on the Bengals against the Titans, but other than that, I haven't really bet on the Bengals at all this season, other than the over/under. Like I had the under in the Chiefs game, which barely hit, but I didn't bet on the spread at all because like I try not to, let my fandom influence my bets. But I think there's a ton of value on Bengals. Excuse me. On Bengals +5. That is a lot of points with the way they've been playing, with the way they've been riding. Like it was disrespectful to give them +7 against the Chiefs. And now they're going to give them +5 against the Rams. It just seems like odds makers are disrespecting them. I don't know how else to put it,
They're the underdog.
Yeah. And I do think the Rams should be favored, but I thought it would be like -2.5.
I knew it was going to be a bigger spread.
I really thought it was going to be like 2.5.
I had a feeling it was going to be a little bit of a bigger spread, but hey, I'll take it because I was going to take the Bengals either way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll be doing in terms of like other prop bets, everything. I have a few ideas, but
yeah, we'll get there.
Finalize
we'll get there Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
And in terms of line movement too, one thing that really had me worried, but like with championship games and really big games, line movement doesn't really happen that much. Have you noticed that?
Honestly, I haven't really paid attention. Like, I guess I don't know. Really? Is that
I always keep my eye on it. Well, just for this year, I didn't keep an eye on it last year. I guess last year because Chiefs -3 stayed the same for the Super Bowl last year, but like the championship games, like I remember Bama +6.5 stayed 6.5. Bama -13.5 against Cincinnati stayed.
Yeah, you're
Georgia,
right. That one did.
Yeah, Georgia -3 in the championship stayed pat, even with all the money flooding in on Bama. And then for the championship games and the divisional round games, like I feel like they've stayed mostly the same. Maybe like a half-point swing here and there, but like it stayed -7 in favor of Kansas City all week, and it stayed. It was like -3 for the Rams, and then it moved half a point last minute.
Yeah, god damn it, that fucked me. I almost bought half a point too. I'm like, should I? Nah, dude, they're gonna win by 4.
Damn.
Oof. But no, yeah, that's interesting to point out. I've never really noticed that, I guess. But you're right. I mean, most of them have stayed put for the most part. But I feel like that's also just because they are championship games. They are bet a lot more. So I feel like no matter what the game is, if you have 10 million people betting on it versus 1 million, the odds of it being split down the middle are more likely to happen.
Yeah. Money's coming in from everywhere. And I think that a little bit of Vegas is just like, you know what? We're probably going to cash in on prop bets. So,
dude, Vegas is going to make money no matter what, bro. On Super Bowl Sunday, they're going to cash in everything. I already told my girlfriend, I was like, hey, so the Super Bowl is on February 13th. I just want you to know that our Valentine's plans, they might have to, take all, if the Bengals win, I don't know what I'm going to do on that day. Okay.
Act up.
I'm going to act up. All right. I'm going to just fucking run the street naked in my Joe Burrow jersey if I have to, bro. People need to know. All right. Anyway, though, moving on. So, last one about this matchup, because going back to the Joe Burrow story, being that kid from Ohio, if the Bengals were to win this game, if they pull off the unthinkable, if they actually win the Super Bowl, is Joe Burrow's win for the state of Ohio in Cincinnati bigger than LeBron James's win for Cleveland?
So I'm going to go with no, which is, you can answer this question for me, but am I a LeBron hater?
I think you're in the middle.
I'm okay because I don't like LeBron, but I wouldn't say I'm a LeBron hater.
I think you ridicule him fairly without just being like, fuck everything this guy does.
Yeah. So most of my feeling that this isn't as big as the Cavs, because with the Cavs, LeBron was there for, I don't know, he went to 2-3 finals with the Cavs, got blown out every single time. I think it was 2, right?
He went to 3.
He went to 3.
Yeah,
the
lost
first time?
2, won 1. Oh, the first time? No, he went to 2. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he went to 2, went to Miami, left. He went from being the most loved person in Ohio to the most hated. Came back. Everybody rejoiced the return of the king. Shout out Lord of the Rings. And then beat the best team in the regular season of all time to win the ring, to end like the 60-year drought for the city of Cleveland in Ohio.
And down 3-1 in the series.
And down 3-1. I don't think anything can top that. With the Bengals, it's huge. It's crazy. Cincinnati has had their woes. They've never won the Super Bowl. They were in dire straits before Joe Burrow came along. But really, they're not even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like really, y'all guys are just playing with house money at this point.
Exactly. That is exactly what we're doing. Yeah.
So with all that in mind, like I still think LeBron's championship is bigger for the state of Ohio. 100%.
So I am a big LeBron fan. I am a very big LeBron fan. So it's hard for me to go the opposite direction, but I think I'm going to say that Burrow's win would be slightly bigger, and it's very, very, very close, because I'm not going to knock what LeBron did at all. Like, I'm not going to say anything bad about that. Oh yeah, comment Bengals team of destiny changed my mind. Yes, sir. It is exactly.
Change your mind.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the team of destiny, and like, I think that fact that you mentioned, though, that they're not expected to be here, that makes the win all the more special. And I know it was Cleveland, it was the whole city drought. It wasn't just the Cavs, because Cincinnati only has the Bengals as a professional sports, or I guess they have the Reds too. But I think football is king. We say that time in and time out. Football is king in America, and it's especially king in Ohio. Ohio is one of, I think, like Texas, California, Florida, and Ohio are probably the biggest football states in the country.
Yeah.
Especially for high school recruiting. And so football means a little bit more there. So that's why I'm leaning towards that it's a little bit more substantial, because it's just, I feel weird saying this, because I'm like basically discrediting what LeBron did. But I personally think that this win for the Bengals would be bigger, because, I mean, they haven't won a playoff game since text messaging was invented. Literally, their last win was against a team that doesn't exist. It's been over 3 decades since a Super Bowl appearance. Like, they were due. And I don't know the exact numbers on the Cavaliers, but I know it was like a 40-year drought or something for the whole city of Cleveland in terms of.
It was 50.
50, yeah, a long time in terms of winning.
And it came off the heels of the Cleveland Indians blowing it against the Cubs.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Well, I like seeing that, though, even though it was, the Cubs curse was bigger than the Cleveland curse at that point.
100%. But
yeah. I think just overall, my main reason for why I think it would be more impactful for Burrow is just that football is king. And that's really why I think more people will appreciate the emotions of what the win would bring. Because I've just seen countless videos of lifelong Cincinnati fans just go to their knees crying when McPherson made that kick. So and I'm sure the same thing happened with Cavalier fans. But my take too is, aside from just football versus basketball, with basketball, it takes 2 to 3 guys. You need 2 to 3 really good guys, and you can compete for a championship with role players. Football, it's much more. There's way more variables that can go wrong. You got to have a unit that's not only talented individually, but works well as a unit, and a coaching staff that calls plays as a unit. Because I think the NFL coaching has much more of a impact on the game than in the NBA to kind of just let them go out and do their thing. So that to me is a little bit more impressive rather than, LeBron doing it with Kyrie, even though it was against the best team of all time. So that's my reasoning behind taking Burrow over LeBron, I guess, even though you can't really compare them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But anyway, though, that's really it for the Bengals game, unless you have any opposition on what I just said.
No, I don't, but I do have one question. It's kind of out of the blue, but does Joe Burrow have too many nicknames?
Actually, yes, I think so. And I love all of them. My favorite is Joey Burr. Just Joey Burrow with the ice next to it. Yeah, Joey Burr. But I've seen Joe Shiesty a lot. I mean, that's the title of our podcast today, has Joe Shiesty in it. So Joe Shiesty has been the most popular one from what I've seen. Have no idea where it comes from, but I think we need to just pick one and roll with it. It is so many. Dude.
He's got Joey B, Joe Shiesty, Joe Burr. I texted the bet that I made, and he's like, "Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money." And I just responded, "Joe Burr."
Joe Burr, yeah,
Joe Burr. That's all I got. But I think I think that might be in the future. That might hamper him a little bit. Too many nicknames.
Eventually, one will probably come out.
One's got to stick. He's got Joe Cool in there too.
Yeah, Joe Cool. That is another one. Yeah,
even though that was Joe Montana's. But
you could even throw in. You could even throw in Burrow with the AUX at the end of it because Louisiana.
Burrow.
Yeah. But alrighty though. Moving on from the championship games, the matchup, the Super Bowl, something else that's been dominating headlines in the NFL and the football world is Tom Brady. Is Tom Brady retiring? A few days ago, we all thought it was happening, and then hours after the announcement, who knows? And at this point, still who knows? So in case you missed it, Adam Schefter a few days back dropped a bomb. He tweeted out that Tom Brady will be retiring from football after 22 seasons. And the irony of this is it literally happened days after we were on this podcast, both oh, he's not retiring until he's 50. No shot, no way. And then boom, it happened. So the order of operations essentially is Schefty announced that Brady's retiring. The media went bonkers. Everybody's going nuts, of course. Then Brady came
crying.
Out. What?
People are crying.
Yeah, legitimately. People are just heartbroken. And then Brady comes out and says that he's not even close to making a decision and that it's not true. The report's false. And now the media is freaking out all over again as to what the fuck is going on. So what is your theory? Is he actually retiring? Was it just, did it leak through the media? Was it they pulled the trigger too early by announcing it? What the fuck's going on?
So, yeah, 100% they pulled the trigger too early. The weirdest thing about all this is while there's still uncertainty around his retirement, ESPN's standing by their reporting. And not only through saying oh, we support Adam Schefter, they're doing it through their programming. I have at work, we have TVs on each side of the office. I sit next to one. I'm staring at ESPN all day. First Take, every NFL Live, they're all treating this reporting as it's 400% true. Brady's retired. It's a done deal, which is kind of crazy because now there's reports conflicting that. Even Brady has come out. He just came out today on his podcast saying that, I go day to day with that decision. I have not come close. I go back and forth so much. Personally, for me, I don't think it's over till the fat lady sings, and that fat lady's Tom Brady. And also, I think that this man might play another 2 or 3 years out of spite that somebody leaked it before he could.
That would be a very Brady thing to do. Yeah. So my take is, yes, I do think Adam Schefter pulled the trigger a little bit early, but for Adam Schefter to do that, this isn't just any casual news story.
Shefty's had some misses this year.
That's true. This isn't his first, blunder, but for somebody of his caliber, and he is that guy in the NFL. I mean, whatever he says, people believe. He's the number one reporter for everything NFL news. So for him to pull that trigger that makes me believe that there was substantial information that led him to believe that is fact, Otherwise he wouldn't have done it. But I really think that what happened was Brady told his agent, he told the people close to him that he's going to retire. And he didn't want to announce it to the media quite yet because Brady's not so much of a big media drama type guy. He didn't want all that attention on him until the season was over. At least that's what I think. And once, his agent leaked it, he got pissed, came out because he got pissed. He didn't get to do it his way. He didn't get to be the one to announce it, and also now he's going to serve as a distraction from the season rather than doing it after the season. So I think that Brady is retiring, but he got pissed off and is backtracking now because he didn't get to do it the way he wanted to. But like you said, though, I would not be surprised if he played out of spite just because he's pissed. Like, I could see that happening too. But I think he's retiring. I do think it's done now, just based off of everything that's happening. A week ago, I would have said, no shot, you're out of your mind. So it's nuts. It's happening fast. But like Brady said, he's day to day. So who knows what's going to happen today, tomorrow, or even the next day. Do you think, though, Brady, if he does retire, which is kind of 50-50 right now, do you see him taking on a broadcasting role, kind of reminiscent of what Tony Romo did?
No, I don't. I think that he's got too many side projects going on right now. I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, he's got an NFT collection. He's got the TB12 brand, which is like an apparel brand, but also like a supplement type thing going on. He also has what is it? Oh, he just launched another apparel brand called Brady, which is Brady. So he's got all kinds of business going on. He's going to keep himself plenty busy with that. I do think, though, that he will not be a stranger to the media, and he'll show up, for an interview or for like maybe a guest appearance on a pregame show, wherever it may be,
or like a Manning cast.
Yeah, or Manning. Well, yeah, for sure, he'll definitely come on Manning cast. That's without a doubt.
He could have done that while playing, even.
Maybe in 10 years he'll get bored and he wants to be close to the game again, in some time. But for a while, he'll probably want to step away just because he's been so close to it for 22 years now.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I also agree. I don't think he'll step into a media role just because, kind of like what I said, he just isn't really personality-wise. He's not really all about the media, all about the attention being on him, which is kind of ironic depending on the way you look at it for somebody of his status, his stature, his legacy. But that's just who he is. That's how he is. So I agree with you that he's destined to come on some sort of TV appearances every now and then. Yeah. And he'll probably want to be related to the game in some facet. But yeah, I don't see a reason for him to force it, like by just joining CBS next year, kind of like Drew Brees did by joining right after he retired. So I think he'll take his time off. He's deserved it. Like, I can't even imagine doing the same thing every year for 22 years. Like, I haven't even been alive for as long as he's been in the NFL. And for just to walk away from it like that, I can't imagine what he's thinking, what's going through his mind, what he, what's going to make him happy. There's a lot of mental aspects of that too for athletes, walking away from the game. Like, I wonder how he's going to handle it. Yeah. It's got to be tough.
And that's part of the reason why I don't think he's going to retire is just strictly denial. Because me and you both, we don't know an NFL without Tom Brady. And that's crazy to say, like literally our entire lives. And another thing too is that Buccaneers Tom Brady has been so much fucking fun to enjoy.
He's so good.
He's so good, but not even from that, just from an entertainment standpoint, from what he does on Twitter, the way that he's flashed his personality in the past 2 years that he didn't do when he was with the Pats has just been really fun to watch. His fuck you tour that he had after he won the Super Bowl was awesome. Him getting drunk off too much avocado tequila at the Super Bowl parade. I want to see more of that. And I mean, the man's still at the top of his game. He led the NFL in yards and touchdown passes. So
yeah, literally the two biggest stats. Like, yeah, he's playing his best football. There's really no reason for him to retire.
So him retiring is strictly denial on my part that I think that he's not going to. Again, it's probably 50-50 at this point, but I still am on the side of, he's going to be back next year.
I wish, because like we said last week, that he's gonna play till he's 50. I wish that I could still have that, and part of me does still believe that, but I just don't think that any of this wouldn't have come out unless it was like a legitimate possibility that
It is
he's
legit.
really considering it. Like,
and a part of me too that thinks that he is going to retire is that Brady doesn't strike me as a guy a la Big Ben to stick around longer than he's capable of.
But he needs to, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think he wants to go out like Big Ben or Peyton Manning, where his last year we're like, oh man, kind of sad. He looks like a three-legged dog out there, just limp, or a blind
with a noodle arm.
Where he's just like, oh man, we should probably just like put him down. Like, I don't think he wants to go out like
Christ.
that. Yeah, it's a good.
That is a good analogy, though. Like, oh, I guess we gotta fucking put him down, Big Ben.
So he wants to go at the top of his game. Our last memories of him are memories of him being dominant. Because like honestly, too, a little bit. My last memories of Peyton Manning, and every time I think of him, I think about how shit he was his last year. I don't think Brady wants to be like that.
And how he got carried by the defense to a Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah. Of how he was throwing ducks.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Brady hasn't got to that point, and I don't think he ever wants to. So that is a reason why I think that he would.
I think that would fuck with him mentally more than retiring itself, just not like producing at the level he knows he's capable of because his body just can't do it anymore. That would be tough. So like, yeah, I saw a video yesterday that was like the sound was, I regret to inform you, your childhood has expired, with like dramatic music. Bro, Brady retired. Both Mannings retired. Roethlisberger retired. Phillip Rivers retired. Drew Brees retired. All of the great quarterbacks from our childhood growing up watching football are done.
Yeah.
That's weird, dude. Like Brady's the last of them, really. And Rodgers, I guess. Rodgers would be the other one.
League's in good hands.
It is, though. I think it is. It's in great hands, Hand it off to Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, though, that's all we got for Tom Brady retiring. I'm sure there will be some kind of update. Like I said, who knows? Tomorrow there could be another Adam Schefter bomb that it's confirmed or it's denied he's actually playing next year. Who knows what's going to happen? But moving on now, Elijah, with the coaching carousel. What do we got for us? I got to pee so bad. You go ahead and lead us into this.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so. Yeah, now that Ryan's got good. Fuck that guy. Can't wait to take GTD on my own. But all right, so the coaching carousel has been going around. Half the league's positions have been filled. There's still a lot of question marks of what's going around, but so far, Broncos got their guy and former Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. Colts defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus to the Bears. Got Josh McDaniels to Vegas, which is a huge shock. And then, yeah, that's our 4. There's a lot of other question marks going around. I am very curious. It's very interesting to me that the Bears went with Eberflus because he's the only defensive guy to get hired so far in this round, unless Brian Flores gets another job, which is looking more and more less likely, which is very interesting. And then here comes Ryan coming back. Okay,
I can hear you, fucker. I have my headphones on while I'm peeing. It's your fuck, right. Ryan. Look at that guy.
All right. So now that I broke this down a little bit, let's go ahead and talk about some of these. Let's start with the Broncos hiring Packers OC and Nathaniel Hackett. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think it's a good hire. I don't really know who their other candidates were, but the Packers offense has been playing well, especially with Rodgers and LaFleur together. So I think it's a good hire. It's worked out. Denver, if they need anything, they need offense. So to get an offensive-minded coach is probably the right move. So if I was to rate this on like a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably put this at a 7-8. I think it's a good hire, but not like phenomenal, not like the best available.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. It's like a 7 or 8 for me too. And the one question I do have though is that does hiring Hackett mean that Broncos are going all in on trying to get Rodgers this offseason?
So I have been on the hype train of Rodgers is leaving Green Bay to Denver. I've been saying that Denver is the new quarterback retirement center. They're just going to take all these old guys whenever they're ready to leave, and they're going to be the place, especially with John Elway being such a big part of their front office. So I think so. I do think this is also kind of a nudge. Like if Rodgers was going to go anywhere, this would definitely nudge him towards picking the Broncos. So I think yes.
Yeah, 100%. A part of their thought process in picking him was like, yeah, let's get him. We get a better chance of getting Rodgers. Rodgers has praised this guy in the past, and I still think that Rodgers stays though.
Really? Yeah, I know you're on the Rodgers is staying train. I just with the way the season ended, it's gonna be. I don't know.
I'm sticking to my guns on this one. I'm sticking to my guns.
I could totally see it. Like I don't think it's out of the picture. Because I saw like the Vegas odds has the Broncos are favored for his next team at like plus 250, but the Packers are like right after them at like plus 350 or something. So pretty juicy odds. I might actually have to throw some on that.
Yeah, I'd throw some on both. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. If they're both at those big plus odds like that.
Yeah. Next up, we got Matt Eberflus to the Bears. He's the Colts' former defensive coordinator. Before that, he spent some time with the Cowboys as a linebackers coach. He's a really good coach with us. He had us when Sean Lee was healthy. Jalen Smith's best year with us is when he was our linebackers coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a really good choice, but at the same time, Bears need offense. So a lot of this decision really harpers on who he gets as OC.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears, they needed a home run hire. And I don't necessarily think this is the home run grand slam guy. Like, is it the wrong decision? It's not. You can't say it's terribly wrong because he does have the track record. But I think they needed to get like a marquee guy just based off the way the fans have been so frustrated. They have the opportunity now with Justin Fields. And same thing with the Broncos. I mean, like you just said, they needed an offensive guy probably. I would have probably said that would make more sense for them as a defensive team. And they need Justin Fields to blossom. So personally, I don't like this hire all too much. I'm going to give this like a 4 out of 10. It would not surprise me if the Bears crashed and burned in 2 years and fired him for somebody else. But where's Bieniemy at right now in terms of being interviewed and stuff?
Bieniemy's got the keys to the car in Kansas City. He's not going anywhere.
But like last year, he was like the hottest commodity,
Nah.
for the first year or so.
I think a lot of people are out there crying about like the whole black head coach thing, with Bieniemy as the poster child for that. I think that he just has the opportunity because Andy Reid is he's pushing 70 now.
Bieniemy
has he's like 60. He's in his late 60s.
He doesn't look that old on it. He's 63. Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, that's surprising, but his health is in question.
Yes, you are right. Definitely, yeah.
Man eats a lot of cheeseburgers, so I don't know how much longer he has, and I think that's what's kind of going on with it is Andy Reid doesn't know how much longer he has, and maybe Bieniemy's just looking for the right fit, but I don't know.
No, you're right. From Bieniemy's perspective, if I was Bieniemy, I would 100% rather just take the head coaching job at Kansas City. Like,
take more rings.
Exactly.
Spend more time with Pat Mahomes. Make yourself look good.
I don't know who it would have been. I just would have liked to see the Bears, with their history, everything, with how poorly they've been performing the last few seasons. I would have liked to have seen them hire the guy. And I don't necessarily know who that would be this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Kellen Moore. Maybe. Because he's been a hot commodity for a while now.
I don't know. Kellen Moore kind of flustered in the second half of the season. Dak Prescott started struggling out of nowhere, so I think that really hurt his stock.
It did.
I think now it's looking like he might stay with us another year, try and get that back up. But back to Eberflus, I think this is a really solid hire. Even though he is defense and they need offense, but I just think that he's overall a really, really good head coach. and I feel like he's going to put the right guys around him to succeed. And I think in 2 or 3 years, we're going to look at him as one of the best coaches in the league.
That's a bold statement. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Bears whatsoever, but I do want to see Justin Fields succeed. Like, part of me just likes Justin Fields, his style of play. Like, I want to see him be what we thought he could be in the draft, and he hasn't shown us any of that yet. So I'm not opposed to it. Like I said, I feel like I would have liked more of a blockbuster type name, but anyway.
All right, and then next up we got Brian Dabol going to the Giants. Kind of a shocker for me.
Yeah, no, I think so too. This is not who I would have expected, but I really, really like it for the Giants. I think this was the right move. This is kind of a home run, in my opinion, for the Giants. It's a great pairing. Had a lot of success in Buffalo. Why not, you know?
Yeah, and if you really want to get down to it, it's probably the guy that Bears should have hired if you look, if you ask the media.
Yeah, I was about to say, if the Bears had hired him, I would have been all over it. Like, that's a home run.
For me, I think it makes sense for the Giants because I think he's going to be a really good head coach. But why is Daboll choosing the dumpster fire that is the Giants? Why would he choose a head coaching job where he's pretty much tethered to Daniel Jones for this year? He could have 1 year. But he could have had his pick. Cream of the crop.
But it's also the biggest market in sports.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a Northeastern guy. I mean, he spent a lot of time with the Pats and a lot of time in New York and Buffalo. So maybe he just wanted to stay in the Northeast. I don't know. But if I was Dabol, I wouldn't have picked the Giants. That seems like somewhere I wouldn't have want to go. Kind of like how Bieniemy turned down the Chiefs job or the Jets job last year because he was like, I don't want to go to the Jets. The Jets garbage.
I don't know. I see it kind of as the opposite. I think I see it as an opportunity for him because New York is a big football town, even though it's New York. I mean, they're just a big market for everything. So if New York is good, then that's good for the league. And
yeah,
I just think that he has an opportunity to take a team that is that has his success historically, with Eli Manning winning the Super Bowls, even when they really shouldn't have. He has an opportunity to take that caliber of team out of their rebuilding dog shit phase. I don't even know if I would say it's a rebuilding phase because, I mean, they've been drafting guys for a while now. It's just nothing has worked out necessarily, especially Daniel Jones. But I really, it's an opportunity for him to take that 4-12 team and restore them to their 9-7, 10, well, I guess it would have to be like 9-8, 10-7 type seasons to where they can compete for the playoffs and, at least make the wild card spot, if not win the NFC East. So I see it as an opportunity for him to just restore them back to their glory days, which is kind of like a college football mindset because that's really more for like college programs. But I don't know. I think if he crashes and burns, though, do you think he'll take the hit or will it just be because it's the Giants?
In terms of he'll take the hit, yeah, it'll probably just be like it's the Giants that organization is looked very down upon now after looking so good. So he'll definitely get a second head coaching chance, I feel like, after this. But Saquon Barkley rebound with Dabol, yes or no?
Wait, Saquon Barkley rebound like as if he have a good year next year?
Yeah, like he comes back being the Saquon he was his rookie year.
I don't think so. I think Saquon's done.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think the Saquon that we want, the Saquad that we once knew and loved is over. It's just he's over because of injuries, the offensive line, and just how short-lived running backs' careers are in the NFL. Sad to see though, because I mean, that first year, dude, he was a freak of nature.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then last up, we got Josh McDaniels going to Vegas. Kind of a stunner on both parts.
Part of me likes it though.
I kind of like it. Apparently, Josh McDaniels laid out a plan. He is all about the Carr to Waller connection. So we'll see how this pans out. I kind of have some questions about this. One is like, why didn't they ride with Bisaccia?
That's my thing. Is I would have rode with Bisaccia.
I think I would have too, but I mean, Josh McDaniels is kind of one of the premier guys, even though he's kind of laxed. And going back to him
He's a big
fading
name
the
for sure.
Colts
Yeah. Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago. And then kind of this is a big spin zone, but I have to ask it because it's where my mind went to. But does this mean that McDaniels does not believe in Mac Jones? He believes that he cannot win a Super Bowl with Mac Jones is the reason why he left New England to coach.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that is a bit of a stretch. It's hard to say.
I kind of think so. I kind of think that he thinks Mac Jones is trash, not worth it, not worth his time because McDaniels had the keys to the car in New England, much like Bieniemy does in Kansas City. Because Belichick is I think Belichick might be 70 now. And that was one of the reasons, that was the big reason why he left the Colts to go, or why he didn't join the Colts even after he got officially hired to stay with New England, was because there was a lot of league circles saying that, oh, he has the keys to the car after Belichick retires. Mm-hmm. Maybe he just got tired of waiting, but part of me thinks that I don't want the keys to the car with Mac Jones at the helm.
I don't know. At the same time, though, like, would you rather have the Patriots with Mac Jones at the helm or the Raiders with Derek Carr at the helm? And obviously Derek Carr is more of a proven quarterback at this point in their careers, but like, it's the Raiders. They've had one of the worst records in the last 2 decades.
Well, Josh McDaniels answered that question for us.
I mean, I think it's probably just because he wanted a head coaching position. And I know he had one lined up, but who knows? It could be 5-6 years before Belichick is done. So I think he just wanted a head coaching position. I don't necessarily think it has anything to do with Mac Jones, but who knows? I mean, maybe he knows something we don't, because I just find it hard to believe that Mac Jones will never win a Super Bowl, because I think he will eventually. Right. Not as fast as Joe Burrow, but eventually, you
know. To round it out, the Jags were reportedly hired Byron Leftwich, but they haven't made it official, and that was like a week ago. So who knows what the hell's going on with that?
I didn't even hear about that one.
Yeah, it was like pretty much a done deal. Some big reporters commented on it or tweeted about it.
And, I would like to see that.
Yeah, I would too. And then Texans, Vikings, Dolphins, and Saints are still looking for their guy.
Yeah. What do you think too about Sean Payton going to the Cowboys?
It's going to happen next year.
I think it's going to happen too. Yeah.
It's literally at this point it's just not written in stone.
Yeah.
And it was also it's pretty much like in 2019 the Cowboys figured out a trade to bring Sean Payton to Dallas, and it was worked out. But it didn't happen because the same day that they were going to make it official, Anthony Davis announced that he wasn't going to come back to the Pelicans. He wasn't going to re-sign. And the owner of the Saints also owns the Pelicans, and they did not want to be responsible for losing 2 big New Orleans icons in the same time frame. So fuck Anthony Davis as a Cowboys fan, respectfully. But no, it's done. Jerry wants his guy. Sean Payton is the apple of Jerry Jones's eye, and Jerry Jones gets what Jerry Jones wants.
Yeah.
He'll throw all the money in the world at Sean Payton. Sean Payton will probably take the year off. I think he wants some time off. And the only thing that's going to save Mike McCarthy's job is a Super Bowl win. And I hate to say it, we're not going to win the Super Bowl next year. So yeah. Sean Payton to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen too. I agree that he's going to take a year off. Even if he doesn't go to the Cowboys, I think he's going to take a year off for sure. But that seems like the most likely scenario. It just seems like, it's a relationship built in the stars.
Yeah. And there's so many things linking him back to DFW. Like his son goes to TCU. I've met him. Nice kid. And he also has a house in the DFW area that he spends most of his time at. So
that makes sense.
Like he wants to be there. And Jerry wants him there.
Speaking of coaches' sons, Gary Patterson's son is my next door neighbor. I should be like, hey, bro, why is your fucking dad going to UT, dude?
What a burn.
What a burn, dude. Just hard. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
Okay. Now let's answer this guy's question finally.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. All right, so last season we saw the Dodgers go down to the Braves in the NLCS, and in a strange kind of way, the Cardinals are the team who led to the downfall of Los Angeles because of how their matchup went. My question for both of you is, Do you feel we need to get another Cardinals-Dodgers playoff matchup this year? And I'm curious if you both perhaps think playing St. Louis led the Dodgers' downfall last year because of how their matchup went. Okay, so that was a lot to take in, but essentially, we're not big baseball guys. I'll just, preface it with that. But I thought the Cardinals, based on the way they'd been playing, they were really, really hot in the season. They got hot at the right time, like an 18-game win streak. I thought they were going to upset the Dodgers and take that. But that is an interesting point because I do think that probably wore them down a little bit, that matchup against them. But I think the Braves were going to win either way, honestly. Just they were kind of playing as if they were going to win. So.
And if any series wore them down, it was the Giants series.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
So, no, but if I'd like to see that matchup again, hell yeah, of course. That'd be an awesome matchup. So
do I think the Cardinals will reach that point next year though? I don't think so unless they make a few, off-season signings because they really shouldn't have even made it to that point last year, but they did. So anyway, though, on to some love it or loathe it. Let's round out this episode as we always do. So I'll go ahead and I'll take up the first set.
Okay, so the UFC is coming out with an NBA Top Shot like NFT platform.
I love it. If you've listened to any of our older episodes, I'm all about these sports NFT collectible type things. Top Shot is still pushing through, still going. And now the UFC is coming out with an NFT online marketplace type thing. Their first pack release was last week after the Ngannou fight, and I missed it. I'm so pissed. I woke up late and I missed it. But I'm trying to get in on the second one because the first releases are always worth the most. So got to get in on that.
All right. Top wide receiver recruit from 2023 decommits from OU.
I absolutely love it. It seems like right now, especially as a TCU fan, right now it seems like everything is falling apart for OU. Even though they got Venables as a coach, which I think was a great hire, they're losing guys. A lot of guys are transferring. Caleb Williams is transferring. Spencer Rattler already transferred. Their commits are decommitting. Like this guy, they're losing a lot of people. This is going to be a completely new OU team we see next year. And if they manage to have the same success, like an 11-win season, that'll be all the more impressive if they do it next year. So I love it, though, because I'd rather see OU go 8-4.
This might be my favorite from the list. Shohei Ohtani is the next cover athlete of the show 2022.
Absolutely love it. There's nobody more deserving. Of course, last year it was Fernando Tatis Jr., which made sense because he had all the hype surrounding him. But Shohei showed out last season, putting up all sorts of ridiculous numbers, doing things that we haven't seen since Babe Ruth. Absolutely, he deserves the cover for the video game. So I love it. I'm actually surprised that, the show 22 is already about to come out. I feel like it was just like a month ago that I was grinding the show 21. So yeah, I love that though.
Day one, Xbox Game Pass, it's going to be free again.
Wait, I have Xbox Game Pass on my PC. Do you think I could just get it on the PC?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Okay, fuck yeah. I'll just play it then.
Bet. Because I'm going to grind it again. All right. Jazz forward Joe Ingles tears his ACL.
Oh, I loathe it. You can't love an injury, so I gotta loathe it. I hate to see Joe Ingles, white boy basketball success go down. That 3-point strap god. Sad though too, because he's pretty old, so that'll be tough for him to come back, especially with his slow catch and shoot style of play.
Yeah.
Alrighty though, switching gears. All right, I'll throw some at you. First up, we got the Sacramento Kings fall out of the Ben Simmons sweepstakes because they thought the asking price was simply too high.
I love it. What are the Sixers doing?
Man, dude, they're asking for just buckets of gold for him.
They're just they're tanking his stock. They just need to take what they can get at this point. I think this whole Ben Simmons saga has turned into pure comedy. And honestly, I'd like for it to drag out for at least another year. I'm enjoying it.
I think it's hilarious, yeah. The kicker would be if they just end up cutting him, bro. Like they thought they were gonna get 3-4 first-round draft picks, and they just cut him.
That doesn't happen in basketball, but that would be pretty funny.
Yeah. Alrighty, next up, we already kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but Barcelona signs Arsenal forward Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on a loan deal, leaving Arsenal after 6 years. What do you think?
I love it. Like we said, we already talked about it. So
Yeah. Alrighty, so I didn't even think about this. I guess I already hinted at this one. So cheapest Super Bowl tickets available of all the tickets, mid-seat, top tier, nosebleeds, everything are currently $6,000.
love it. Like we said, already talked about it. So
Yeah, it's shitty. But anyway, last but not least, Sean McVay's coaching tree has yielded a Super Bowl berth before Bill Belichick's. That's actually nuts. I didn't think about that.
I love this. This is my favorite, like, what the fuck stat I've seen in months. It's Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor was under Sean McVay.
Yeah,
Bill
quarterback
Belichick
coach.
has never had a protege and made it to the Super Bowl. So that's just one of those things that's just really, really cool.
Yeah, I like that too. That is interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
But alrighty though, that's gonna be it for today's episode. We're gonna be back again. We didn't have a Thursday episode last week. I had a little bit of life come in the way and responsibilities, but we'll be back again this week on Thursday with another episode. Considering football is really done until the Super Bowl, we got 2 weeks till the Super Bowl. I don't know exactly what we're going to be talking about yet. We might throw in some NBA in there because I know Elijah and I have both been dying to kind of get back into the basketball grind, but it's been hard with, as good of a football season as we've had. We've kind of had to focus on that. And I'm ready to be a better basketball fan, though. I'm ready to watch more games. So once the football season's done, we'll definitely be hopping on that more. But I think Thursday, probably a little bit of basketball and just whatever else is going on. Maybe an update on Tom Brady's retirement bonanza. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, so that's it for today. All I got to say is Hoo Day, go Bengals. See you in the Super Bowl, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.